Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to a bright but breezy Duisburg in Germany and the final day of the ICF Canoe Sprint World Cup of 2016, where the world's top athletes are looking to put a marker down ahead of the Olympic Games in Rio in just 3 months' time. And we have a packed programme of racing for you this afternoon. All of them finals, starting with the men's K1 500 metres B final and the A final of the women's K1 500 metres. That'll be followed by the final of the men's K1 and C1 200. After that, we'll move up to the longer distance for the men's C2000 and the K4000. Then it's the final of the men's K1 and C1 500 metres before rounding off the morning with the women's K4 500 metres. So plenty of medals up for grabs, and I'm very pleased to say I have alongside me the Austrian international and multiple World Cup medalist Anna Roxana Lehach and the two-time under-23 World Championship finalist from South Africa, Esti van Tonder. Good morning, girls. Anna, starting with you, what are you most looking forward to seeing out on the course this morning?
Today I'm very excited about the K1 500 meters women, and it's going to be a tough race between Hungary and New Zealand, I guess. And the K4 women 500 meter, I'm most about the women. And yeah, I'm very excited for these two races today.
Well, the first race we have up will be the the B final of the men's K1 500 metres. You can see that start list up there on the screen at the moment. No medals up for grabs in this one. That's lane 2, Felix Koenig of Germany. Esti, for you, what are you looking forward to seeing out on the water this morning in these finals?
I think I agree with Anna with the K1 500 meter women. It's going to be a pretty tight race between Lisa and Danuta. And then also the K4000 meter men. It's going to be a good race between those boats as well.
Yeah, the heats in the men's K4000 were very, very tight indeed, so that's going to be an exciting one. So at the moment we're looking at the starting lineup for the B final of the men's K1 500 metres. That's the Swedish athlete Martin Nattel in lane 3. And Mohamed Ali Rabat from Tunisia qualified for Rio by winning golds at the African Championships in K1000. That's Alessandro Necchi of Italy alongside him in lane 6. Just missed out on a medal in the K4 200 metres at the World Cup in Copenhagen last year, finishing 4th. Thomas Lustig from Great Britain, he's had a great weekend so far. Interesting to see how he can get on in this B final. And Paweł Florczak of Poland in lane 8. And finally Tom Brennan from Ireland in lane 9. Just missed out on Olympic qualification in the K1 200 at the European qualifiers earlier this week. So girls, from your perspective, the conditions at the moment, do you think we're going to be expecting some fast times again today like we did yesterday?
Yeah, it's a good backwind like yesterday. I've seen just the K2 500 meter women that did a 1:37, and Danuta did in the semi-final a 1:47, which is fast. And yeah, I guess today will be good times. I'm not sure if they will be as good as yesterday, but quite good, I guess, yeah.
And how have you found the conditions this weekend, Esti?
I've been favouring the tailwind quite a bit, especially racing the 1000 meter. But yeah, it's fast times, and the level of competitiveness is insane. So I think we can expect some good times here.
So the B final of the men's K1 500 metres is underway. They're out of the blocks very, very quickly. It's a quick start from Tom Brennan of Ireland in lane 9. Alessandro Necchi of Italy going really well as well. But at the moment, it's Tom Brennan in this near lane in the white boats with the green shoulders. And also Felix Koenig of Germany looking strong out in lane 2. No medals at stake, just a bit of pride.
It's still tough to race a B final. I had some of that.
When you're in a B final like this, do you tend to find that it's all about proving a point?
No, you train the whole winter, and you want to compete, and there are so many good boats out there, and still if you're in a B final, there are still good boats in a B final, and everybody is racing a B final, so it's sad if you would not be racing it, because it's a race for you and to see where you actually are.
And it's shown the fantastic depth of quality we've got this weekend, because there's A finals, B finals, C finals as well.
In the 200 girls, so it was crazy, like so many good boats were in the C final.
So I think that looks like Martin Nattel of Sweden. No, it's not. It's Mika Dietrich of Finland in lane 4 who's moving up, as is Mohamed Ali Mrabit from Tunisia. And it's those two athletes that are going to aim for first place. Will it go to Tunisia or Finland? It's going to be Tunisia who take it ahead of Finland. And Great Britain's Thomas Lusty takes the third. A fantastic result and a fantastic race from him. And after that really fast start by Tom Brennan of Ireland out in lane 9, it just goes to show over 500 metres, which obviously you girls compete in a lot. It's not all over after the first 100, is it?
No. You have to know how to race a 500. You can't just start out and expect that you will finish this way. You have to have a good tactic over the 500.
Yeah. In the end, it's all about winning the finish, not the start.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few races this week where crews have had really, really strong finishes and taken us, surprise win. We know that Sebastian Brendel, for example, in the German C1, he's really well known for hanging back, and I know that's over 1,000 metres, but really well known for sort of hanging back and then having a really, really strong finish. So a fantastic win for Mohamed Ali Mrabit of Tunisia, taking first place in the B final of the men's K1 500 metres. He'll be heading to Rio after qualifying by winning gold at the African Championships earlier this season. Just had the times up there, but the next race will be the final of the women's K1 500 metres. And this is one that both of you girls have said you're really looking forward to. Yeah. It's going to be really hard to put your money on any of these girls, but who do you think has been looking strongest so far?
Hard one.
I'd say it's difficult, but I'd say Danuta. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'd say Danuta.
After the semi yesterday, saw Lisa slacking down a little bit towards the end, so I don't know if she's got something extra up her sleeve, but I think it's going to be a very tight race between those two.
In the tank. They were in the same semi-final, weren't they? And it looked like, well, this could be the final. So a really exciting one. But lots of other names to look out for as well, not just those two. Hopefully it won't be a two-horse race. We're looking over there at Naomi Flood from Australia. It's been a great week for her. She's secured her place in Rio. She's secured selection just by the fact of making this a final. So she'll be on a real high from that. Lane 3 in the red bow, that's China's Yu Zhao, bronze at the World Championships last year. She's alongside the reigning world champion Lisa Carrington in lane 2. She won gold in the K1 200 metres yesterday. As we just said, second in the semi-final behind Danuta Kozak of Hungary. And that's Ina Osipenko Radomska of Azerbaijan. She used to race for Ukraine until last year. Olympic champion in 2008, world champion in 2010, still paddling extremely strongly. And this is going to be a really interesting athlete, actually. Belarus's Marina Litvinchuk. And Anna, you were saying earlier that surprised us here in the K1 because she's well known for her crew boat racing, isn't she?
Yeah, she's good at everything. Really, I'm racing against her since I'm junior, and she's good in the K2 200. She's unbeatable actually in the 5Ks. She's just an amazing, outstanding athlete.
Yeah, last year Marina Litvinchuk of Belarus, she won gold in the K4 500, K2 200, and K1 5K at the Worlds and the Europeans. So she just goes from race to race, picking up medals basically. In lane 9, that's Spila Ponomarenko Yannick from Slovenia, two-time Olympian, former European bronze medalist in this event as well. And this is going to be a nail-biter. In the start buckets, yesterday Danuta Kozak's time in the semi-final was just half a second slower than the world's best time. And they're out of the blocks, and a brilliant start for Emmy Jorgensen of Denmark in lane 8, sorry. She burst out the blocks.
Yeah, she's 20. She's really young.
Yeah.
She just had amazing results at the juniors.
Very, very strong athlete, moving her way up and really competing. There she is. Also going really well is Marina Litvinchuk of Belarus, who we were just speaking about, but it is Inna Osipenko-Radomska of Azerbaijan who's just nosing into the lead. Danuta Kozak is up there as well. Lisa Carrington is just slightly off the pace, but not too much, definitely keeping herself in contention.
We can expect a good finish from the Hungarian. She's always building up the last 200 meters. But Osipenko she's doing really well.
So how difficult is it when you're under this pressure to stick with your own race plan and keep control of it?
You have to stay calm, and you can't stress out. So you have to stick to your own race plan.
So they're through the 200 meter mark now, still in the Osipenko-Radomska of Azerbaijan in the lead. And Danuta Kozak is coming up strongly as well. Marina Litvinchuk of Belarus in lane 5, still looking good. What has Lisa Carrington got in the tank? Danuta Kozak is starting to power through. She's gone past Inna Osipenko-Radomska of Azerbaijan. Who are going to take these medals, and which colour will they
coming
be?
on lane 2 as well.
Lisa's cooking hard.
So Danuta Kozak looking really strong, half a boat length from the lead now. Inna Osipenko-Radomska still in second. Can Lisa Carrington come back and take the silver? It will be Danuta Kozak of Hungary that takes gold, ahead of Lisa Carrington of New Zealand with the silver, and Inna Osipenko-Radomska with bronze for Azerbaijan. Girls, what do you think of that, SD Festival?
The Hungarians are just always a force to be reckoned with, and I think Danuta just proved her point there. She just went at it, and that finish, I don't know, anyone can catch her if she goes on like that. So.
And Anna?
Yeah.
What she said.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Danuta looks really good. She looks amazing the last 150 meters. Her technique is very smooth. I like that, to watch her the last 100 meters. She doesn't look like she's trying to push too hard, and that's amazing.
Yeah. And how we're seeing on the screen there, Inna Osipenko-Radomska of Azerbaijan. How impressed are you that she can keep coming back year after year, and especially in Olympic year, she tends to peak?
I think it's pretty amazing. I don't know. It's hard to keep racing at this level for so many years.
She was Olympic champion in Beijing, right?
We are 100th of a second slower than the world's best time. 1:47.071, the winning time in the women's K1 500 metres for Danuta Kozak. And I'll try and bring you the rest of those times as well as soon as I can. Lisa Carrington, 1:48.196. So a second behind. She took the silver medal, and Inna Osipenko-Radomska of Azerbaijan 0.2 of a second behind the silver. So the next race will be the final of the men's K1 200 metres. Another really exciting one. I think this one is going to be extremely close. Any particular names stand out for you there?
Yeah, Mark de Jong, the world champion of last year. Heath Liam, he actually does the K2 200, right? He's competing in K1 now. Yeah, just two. And the French guy. Yeah, you can't say anything about the 200. It's a play, actually.
Yeah, it's anyone's race.
Yeah.
The heats yesterday were really, really, really fantastically close. This could really be anyone's race from 1 to 9. We're looking there at Peter Molnar from Hungary in lane 9, reigning world champion in K2 200. And won silver in the K2 200 yesterday as well with Sandor Topka. So he's going to be a strong athlete. Also in lane 8, that's Carlos Gorot, under 23 world bronze medalist in 2014. 5th here last year. And out in lane 7, and I just mentioned him, Mark de Jong, the reigning world champion from Canada. Olympic bronze medalist at London 2012, looked extremely strong in the heats yesterday. Very, very strong indeed. And then out in lane 4, that's Alexei Rumyanchev's. Liam Heath as well from Great Britain in lane 5. As Anna said, usually races K2 with Johnny Schofield. They finished 7th in the K2 200 yesterday. 3 times European champion, that pair, and Olympic bronze medalists as well. But interesting to see how Liam is stepping up into the K1. Won his semi-final yesterday and is actually looking extremely sharp indeed. That's Yevgeny Lukansov from Russia out in lane 3. Former under-23 world and European champion in K2 200. And Italy's Manfredi Risa out in lane 2.
He qualified to spot for Italy at the European, right?
Yeah, finished third at the European qualifiers and bagged his place at Rio, as Anna says. So lined up in their buckets. This could be over and done with in not much more than 30 seconds. So they're out of the blocks. Very quick starts from Carlos Garot of Spain in lane 8 and Maxime Beaumont of France in lane 6. Liam Heath looking very strong in that grey boat in the middle as well, but at the moment it's Carlos Garot who is looking really strong. Liam Heath is powering forward. Liam Heath is just taking it into the lead.
Second lane.
Yeah, out in lane 2, that is Manfredi Risa, looking very good. And this is an extremely strong puddle from Liam Heath, but Manfredi Risa of Italy looks like
Italy
he's
is
it
in front.
and it will be Italy who take the gold. I think it was Manfredi Risa of Italy who took gold in that one, but the rest of the places,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I don't know.
It looked like 4 boats, photo finish for silver, so...
and it's amazing how the lead can change so often in
the 200,
just over 200 meters. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you've both raced 200 meters before. How can you mentally and physically try and produce a race in which there is literally no room for error at all? I mean, you saw that it's going to be hundredths of a second in it. How can you try and produce that perfect race?
I raced just K2 200 meters, and actually you just go hard from the start until the finish. That's the whole tactic. You just have to go through.
It looks extremely fun. Does it feel fun?
It's fun.
Yeah, sometimes.
I enjoy it doing 200. It's short.
Kind of prefer the longer distances.
Me actually not.
So there we are. We've got the joint third place, joint bronze medal between Alexei Rumyanshev and Liam Heath. That's the Latvian and the British, but it's Maxime Beaumont who took the silver. And down in 5th is Yevgeny Lukansov. So Maxime Beaumont taking the silver after Manfredi Risa of Italy. And it was a joint bronze medal for Liam Heath and Alexei Rumyanshev. So next will be the A final of the men's C1 200 metres. Some really exciting names to look out for in this one as well. This is going to be a fast and very furious race indeed. So we're looking at Artur Guliev in lane 9. Silver at the Junior World Championships last year, only 18 years old. Then in lane 7, Mikhail Marek Lubniewski of Poland. Missed out on Olympic qualification earlier this week at the European qualifiers, finished 6th, so he'll be looking to stamp his authority on this race. Qiang Li as well, silver at the World Championships last year from China, he'll be in lane 8. And then in lane 6, Henrik Zustautas of Lithuania, reigning under-23 world champion. Gold at the European Games last year as well, so stepping up really well into senior racing. And Alfonso Benavides won the Olympic qualifier, the European round of Olympic qualification on Thursday, securing his spot, or a spot for Spain at Rio 2016, and held a silver from Portugal. He'll be in lane 4, European bronze medalist in 2014. So a couple of minutes to go before the start. I can tell you that the winning time in the men's K1 200 metres of 34.353 was about 0.4 of a second slower than the world's best time. And with cold water like this, and it's the start of a season, are you surprised that the times are so quick?
I'm actually not surprised because the Italian had to do the European qualifiers, and I'm pretty sure he focused on this race. But it's amazing to see that he actually had to go second round, and now he's winning the World Cup, which is great for him.
And some people who raced at European qualifiers actually chose to go home, but a lot of people stayed and competed at the World Cup like you did.
Yeah.
How tough is that, going from having to perform again, to try and keep your excitement levels up, especially?
I really enjoy to race, actually. I enjoy to race more than to train. So I'm happy if I can race.
So they're underway in this final of the men's C1 200 metres. And another fast start for the Spanish athletes out in lane 5. Alfonso Benavides looking very, very strong indeed. Also going really well is the athlete in lane 3.
Russia,
Yeah, that is the Russian athlete, Ivan Stil, reigning world and European champion in the C2 200.
Spain's coming back.
Yeah, he is.
This is going to go right down to the very last wire again, and I think it will be Russia who take first ahead of Spain. That's Ivan Stil of Russia, who just noses it in front of Alfonso Benavides. And where the third place went, I don't know if you guys noticed, but
I don't know either. I have no idea. I guess it's lane 2. Could it be?
And
the guy from Georgia. Is it Georgia?
it's going to be between Georgia Zaza Nadiradze and potentially Enrikas Zustautas of Lithuania, who is in lane 6. So we'll have to wait and see what those results were. The current world's best time is 38.137. That's the barrier they're aiming for. Yuri Cheban of Ukraine got that at Moscow in 2014 at the World Championships. And obviously you girls are kayak paddlers. Have you ever tried C1?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
No.
No,
Why didn't you like it?
My bum cramps. It's like 3 strokes and I can't go any further.
I can't steer. I'm just doing circles all over the place. I don't know. It's just but it's amazing that there are so many girls out there who are really, really impressive in this C1.
And because C1 for women is going to be in the Olympics in 2020, have your federations, South Africa and Austria, have they been, just quickly look at these times a minute, 38.280, 1/10 of a second off the world's best time. And bronze was given to Zaza Nadiradze of Georgia, with Alfonso Benavides of Spain taking the silver. So sorry, I was going to just saying, have your federations started to look for C1 athletes from women?
Yeah, in South Africa they've put up quite a big program to try and start it. It's quite hard since in South Africa we don't have the knowledge about canoeing as much, but we've got I think about 4 or 5 girls that seem to be getting into it and doing quite well.
It's complicated in Austria. Flatwater kayaking is not that popular. We are more of the ski downhill people, and the summer sport it's more in the background, and we are trying, like me and Vicky and the rest of the team, we're trying to push kayaking to be more popular, but it's hard. And no, they don't, as it looks now, they are not trying to get C1 girls until 2020.
It does seem like in Austria, you and Victoria Schwartz and Yvonne Schering, it does seem like you are very good at kind of publicising what the sport is all about and what you as female athletes are capable of.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we got many people so far that they know already the difference between kayaking and rowing, which is amazing. And
that's much better than Britain.
Really.
It's a big step.
Yeah, it's a really big step, and I'm already happy about that.
So we're about to have a medal presentation for the women's K1 500 metres, just coming up shortly. So for you girls, obviously the weekend's starting to come to a close now. I mean, Esty, for you, how pleased were you with your own performances this weekend?
Well, I was pretty happy, especially with the 1,000. I would have liked to make the A final, but it didn't happen. And then I went out in the B final and I got a very close second against China. And it was a good race. I felt strong and I felt good. And then in the 500, it felt like I was racing the Olympic A final. So yeah, it was still a good race, and I'm happy with that time. But I'll be looking to improve a little bit in Czech, hopefully.
Well, there was just ridiculous strength in,
Yeah.
in the 500 metres from the A to the C final.
Yeah.
I mean, your South Africa colleague Bridget Hartley, Olympic bronze medalist, found herself in the C final, unfortunately, and that just really shows the quality that's out there.
Yeah, no, I think this is probably the highest level of competitiveness I've ever seen at a World Cup. I knew it was going to be hectic, but I didn't think it was going to be as hard as this.
And for you, Anna, it's been a tough week for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been really tough. We just lost the K2 spot for the Olympics by like 0.06 seconds, and yeah, I guess I need some time to handle that.
It was very, very close. Did you realise how close it was during the race?
No, actually not. We didn't realize because we were on lane 4 and the Swedish were on lane 7, and we just had our own race and tried to focus on ourselves, and yeah, that was the outcome.
So we are just about to have the medal ceremony for the women's K1 500 metres. And that'll be before we have the final of the men's C2 1000 metres.
So many Olympic medals on this podium.
Yeah. So many. Maybe one day. It's a dream.
So we have Danuta Kozak of Hungary, who took gold ahead of Lisa Carrington of New Zealand, and in the Osipenko Radomska of Azerbaijan. And as the girls are saying, plenty of Olympic medals. Lisa Carrington, the Olympic champion in K1 200s. Danuta Kozak, the Olympic champion in the K1 500s. And Dina Osipenko Radomska, Olympic champion all the way back in 2008. And we saw in Osipenko Radomska just go out extremely hard, and it was incredible that she managed to hold on to take a bronze.
Yeah, she took a little bit of a different strategy towards the rest. All the other girls had a stronger finish, but she kind of just went out and hang in there for the last bit. Paid off.
So Ina Osipenko Radomska's second medal of the weekend. She won silver in the K1 200 yesterday, now bronze in the K1 500s. Lisa Carrington, one of the women of the moment, silver medal in the K1 500 after winning the 200 metres yesterday.
She's unbeatable on the 200. Like really, I'm pretty sure she's going to win the Olympics. Like,
can you put your finger on why? What makes her so good in an event that is so close and can change? The gold medal can go to anybody.
You know, before the race, you see her already very calm, and she's smiling and she's friendly, and I think that's her strength. Yeah,
She just looks like she's always enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's not about the result or this or that. It's just she just goes out and does her best and enjoys what she's doing.
I think that's quite rare when there's so much pressure
Yeah.
on athletes all the time. And there you have Danuta Kozak of Hungary, the winner in a time of 1:47.071. 100th of a second slower than the world's best time. So we could, in a warm Rio in the right conditions, we could be seeing some extremely fast times from this women's K1 500s at the Olympic Games later this year. a really fast and fantastically close race by those girls. Marina Limvinchuk of Belarus just missing out on a medal, but adding another string to her bow by racing in the K1 over 500 metres. So next up we do have the men's C2 1,000 metres. And that is the starting lineup. 2 Hungarians on the start line, 2 Ukrainians as well. And this in particular is a race that could change hands quite a few times, I should think. There's a lot of tactical racing in seaboat racing.
Yeah, I think canoeing is definitely an art. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not up anyone's alley to do that.
So perhaps the crew to look out for in this men's C2 1,000 metre final will be Leonid Karp and Stefan Strat. They won the C2000 at the European Olympic qualifiers earlier this week, but out in lane 1, that's the Ukrainian pair Yuri Vandyuk and Andriy Baikav. Rybachok. They paddled together since they were juniors. Junior world champions in 2012 and under 23 world champions in 2013. And there in lane 5 we have Andras Petko and Adam Fekete. Kind of a new crew on the international scene. Both raced C2000 last year but with different partners.
Yeah, I'm quite excited to see those 2 race. They came out to South Africa to come train there with us for a while, and I didn't realize they were a C2 crew, but they were looking quite strong doing training, so I'm excited to see what they can do in the final.
So where in South Africa are you based?
I'm in Pretoria, so it's a Ridderplaat Dam just north of the city.
Is it a good setup for training camps if you get other international athletes coming out and training there?
Yeah, well, it's the only course in South Africa, a 9-lane permanent course with great conditions and minimum wind, and so it's also a big piece of water, so it's perfect to have big groups come train there and just enjoy the warm weather, I guess.
So there we have Leonid Karp and Stefan Strat of Romania, mentioned them a little earlier on, both part of the C4 that won the gold medal at the World Championships last year. And then the Polish crew in lane 6, Mateusz Kominski and Michał Kudla. Bronze medalists at the Under-23 World Championships in 2014, finalists at the European Games last year as well. And there's a legend of the sport, stroking out that German K2, Sebastian Brenzel, out in lane 7.
The Brazilian guy, he's actually also doing the C1, Isaquias Carriers, I guess his name is on lane 3. Yeah, they double up. Did you C2 as well?
Yeah, both doubling up.
Nice to see that.
Isaquias Carriers dos Santos, that Anna Roxana Lehach just mentioned, did race the C1 earlier this week, but actually fell in towards the end.
Yeah. Just
So
a second.
tough.
In 2:14 in Moscow, he just fell in close before the finish line. I don't even know how did you do that.
Possibly just pushing yourself so hard that you've got nothing left. He was actually leading the race yesterday before he fell in, so really, really tough. So the boats are in the start buckets for the start of the men's C2 1,000 metres. It seems like some races are being held on the start quite a long time. Did you find that while racing this weekend, either of you?
I think lining up just always feels like a
Feels like a long time.
It does.
So they're out of the blocks in this final of the men's C2 1,000 metres.
Yeah, the
and
Brazilian already
ready
have a good start.
is the Brazilians out there, yes. The Brazilians also doing well in women's seaboat racing as well. They're kind of setting the standard. But at the moment it is Erlon de Souza Silva and Ezequias Queiroz dos Santos of Brazil who have a narrow lead, but it is the Romanians, Leonid Karp and Stefan Strat, who are nosing up just alongside them, closing down that gap after the Romanians' powerful start. Also looking good are Sebastian Brenzel and Eric Rebstock of Germany.
Yeah, the Romanians have a long history in canoeing, so they will be quite good in this race.
And they really, really stamped their authority on that European Olympic qualifier earlier in this week. taking first place and bagging their place at Rio. And also going really well, it's the Polish crew in that black boat out in lane 6. That's Mateusz Kaminski and Michał Kudla. And going well in the far lane as well is the Ukrainian pair, Dmitry Yanchuk and Taras Mishchuk. They're the reigning under-23 world champions and senior European champions, so we can expect big things from that Ukrainian pair in lane 2. I'm wondering whether the Germans in lane 7, we saw Sebastian Brendel just hang on in contention in the C1. We're expecting they could well have a big finish from them. So it's the Poles now that are putting the pressure on Romania as they go through the 500 metres, 1:44.07.
And the Ukraine boat on lane 2 comes up. Is it?
Yeah, that's the Ukrainian boat. So the Ukrainian boat have obviously had a big lift at the 500 metre mark. That would have been part of their race plan, and you can see them just edging ahead with every single stroke. Romania dropping back now. And also still looking pretty good are the Czech pair on this inside lane. That's Jaroslav Radon and Filip Dvorak. Ukraine looking very, very strong indeed though as they come through the 250 metre mark. Interesting to see what their splits are. The Czechs seem to be powering through. Yeah, they're powering through, coming up.
And the Brazilians are building up.
Yes, they're through the 200 metres. Interesting to see who's going to have the biggest finish. So Romania are lifting it. The Czechs are lifting it. Can Ukraine hold on to the gold?
This is good for Ukraine.
Yeah. This is where their muscles must be absolutely burning. In K1, your legs a little bit hurt, your arms really hurt.
Your legs must hurt here.
Your entire body must be screaming in the sea boats. So it's still with Ukraine at the moment, looking really strong coming through. Still in lane 8 is the Czechs.
Hungarians also putting a good kick on them.
This is going to be really close, and first place will go to Ukraine. Second place and the silver medal was with Romania.
I guess the Czech took the bronze.
And I think it was the Czech Republic who snuck over there with the bronze medal. So it was the reigning under-23 world champions, the reigning senior European champions as well, who've really made a fantastic mark on this race. Dmitry Yanchuk and Taras Mishchuk very pleased with themselves there, slap in the water.
It's really nice to see how the younger guys seem to be coming through the field over the last few years and taking over the reins from some of the reigning champions.
For USD, you race K1000 quite a lot, don't you? Am I right in thinking that?
I try to race it like at the World Cups just for an extra race. But I must say I always question my decision once I start that race. But it always ends up pretty happy and yeah.
Do you question the decision because of the pain?
Yeah, once I hit that 500 meter mark, I'm completely flabbergasted as to why I would want to start 1,000 meter.
So they have it 3:29.574, the winning time for the Ukrainian pair. Romania took silver with the Czech Republic in bronze, and that winning time is about a second slower than the world's best time. And the next race on course will be the final of the men's K4 1,000 metres. I think this is, as well as the women's K4, this is the one that everyone always has an eye on.
Yeah.
It looks so impressive. There's obviously some really fast crews here. What is it about you guys that really attracts you to watching K4 racing?
I think it's just a beautiful race. Just hearing the water splash and the guys breathing, and they make it look so effortless, and the boats I don't know. It's just everything about it just looks very appealing.
I'm always getting jealous when I see K4s because we are just 3 girls and we always wanted to do K4 and we are always just one girl missing, and I would love to do K4. It would be amazing. Yeah.
So do you not have a deep squad in Austria? Do you not have development athletes coming through that could perhaps jump in a K4 and give you some experience?
Not really, no.
So we're looking at these K4s just coming in to the start buckets now out in lane 1. That is the German crew. An under-23 crew. And Felix Landes and Karl Weiss in that crew won the under-23 European golds in the K4000 back in 2014. German senior crew didn't actually make the final, which is quite surprising. No. And then in the background, in that bright green and yellow boat, you can see the Australians, Kenny Wallace, Riley Fitzsimmons, Jacob Clear and Jordan Woods. And alongside them in lane 5, that's the Russian crew. Vasily Pograban and Oleg Zheskov were part of the World Championship winning crew of 2013. They're still there. A lot of these boats kind of changing over the years and moulding. Only in the Australian crew, only Jacob Clear was part of the Olympic gold medal winning crew. They've rotated a lot since then.
Yeah, the Czech boat on lane 6, they are. They have the fastest qualification time.
So they're out of the blocks and underway, and this race, even though it's over 1,000 metres, this could go any way, and it's going to be fascinating to see the race plans, fascinating to see the psychology of it, and the crew that's got out of the blocks the fastest is definitely the Russians. They're out in lane 5 in that dark boat with the white caps on.
Portuguese crew out in lane 1 has also seemed to be taking a good pace.
Portugal have got out of the blocks really, really well. So have Australia, who are just alongside that Russian crew, and Australia now pushing themselves into the lead. We saw in the heat that Australia held back for the most part of the race, absolutely powered through the last 250 to just sneak in and take the win in the heat. But it's Australia who lead it out now.
Kenny Wallace and the stroke, right? Yeah,
Ken Wallace stroking that boat. And they come through the 250 in 44 seconds. I believe the Aussie K4 for real will be L'Occitane, Murray Stewart, and Jacob Clear and Kenny Wallace as well. So a bit of a different crew here.
Yeah, there are two, Riley and I think Jordan. Yeah, they're quite young.
Yeah, I think they'll be doing the K2 at the Olympic Games. So still with Australia, and Russia are still there, and so are the Czech Republic. So at the moment it's those 3 boats that are leading the field. They're through the 500 metre mark. And that was the Czech
boat is coming up.
Looking very strong. So Russia closing the gap. So the Czechs, and also looking strong out in lane 2. That's the Serbian crew in the red boat. You can just feel the nerves and feel the pressure that all those athletes are feeling, be able to kind of just see each other out of the corner of your eyes. And they're going nose to nose. There's absolutely nothing to separate the Russians and the Australians. It's all about
head to head. You really can't say.
So over the last 200 metres of a race like this, what's the focus? What do you focus on?
To reach the finish.
Yeah.
Just to reach the finish.
You kind of just have to focus on yourself. Well, Aussie seems to be fighting back now.
They're going stroke for stroke. Australia are just nosing forward. They've got about a foot lead as they come into the last 50 metres. Australia in the lead.
Belarus
Russia
is coming
in second. Belarus looking really strong in lane 7. And as they come towards the finish line, it will be Australia that take gold ahead of Russia in silver and Belarus with the bronze. And we said it was going to be close, and it came down to literally the finish. Who had the lift over the last 100 metres? Did that live up to expectations, girls?
Yeah, not always. Brilliant kick from the Aussies there at the end, and even Belarus coming in from behind to take out the Czechs and the Serbians on the other side is brilliant.
And I think something that's really impressive about the Australian cruisers is they rotate so much and they bring in different faces for different competitions, whether it's World Cups and that sort of thing. But they don't really seem to have a weak option.
No.
That's amazing that they're trying many people in different boats, and they're giving many people the opportunity to show that they're also good in crew boats and not just leave them alone in K1. It's good from them.
Yeah, they seem to be wanting to lift everyone's game instead of just a certain few people.
We saw at the World Cups last year, they rotated and still, you know, we're up there in the medals both times with different crews, so absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I think with the experience of Kenny Wallace in the front of that boat also it gives everyone a big boost.
I think Kenny Wallace has got to be one of, if not the best all-round kayak athlete out there at the moment. He can compete in K4, K1,
K2, 5K,
5K, every distance.
Yeah.
Do you know if he'll be racing the 5K?
I don't know this weekend. No, I'm not sure. Interesting to see.
Yeah.
So a brilliant gold medal for Australia in the men's K4 1,000 metres. That's Kenny Wallace, Riley Fitzsimmons, Jacob Clear and Jordan Woods. Very, very closely followed, going nose to nose down the entire course. Coming second was Russia with the silver medal. Kirill Lyupanov, Vasily Pograban, Roman Anoshkin and Olev Zhestkov taking the silver, and bronze went to Belarus. They didn't look to be in contention for much of the race, but again had just a fantastic finish. That's Pavel Miadzvedzu, Ale Urenia, Vitaly Bialko and Raman Pietrushenko. Pietrushenko and Bialko won gold in the K2 1000 yesterday, so they've added the bronze medal to that. And it's a 2:52.180, the winning time for Australia. Half a second behind were Russia. Then the next race will be the final of the A final of the men's K1 500 metres. We saw the B final a little bit earlier on. First of all, we're going to have the medal presentation for the men's C1 200 metres. That'll be coming very shortly. So for you now, Anna, what's the plan for you? Have you got more racing planned this year, going to any more of the World Cups?
We will compete in Portugal and Montemor at the World Cup. We won't compete in Ratice. And we have the Europeans in July in Russia, so we're trying to get good races there and good results.
So sticking with that K2 partnership with Victoria Schwartz?
Yeah, we will stick together.
And do you have belief that, you know, it was so close in that European qualification? Do you have belief that there's more in the tank from that pair?
Sorry?
Do you have belief that you guys as a pair have more to give and more capabilities than, you know, just narrowly missing out?
We are training in Italy with our coach is Italian, and we trained in Italy the last 2 years, and we actually stayed there. We lived there, and he trained us so well. I mean, we improved a lot. At the beginning, we weren't so stable, and now we know how to race a 500. And yeah, it was this bit, but it would be sad if we would just crash everything and be like, no, I'm not gonna race with her anymore. And no, I think we're good at K2. We could improve maybe even more. We'll see.
So the presentation, the medal ceremony for the men's C1 200 metres is just getting underway.
Meine Damen und Herren, die Siegerehrung im C1 der Herren über 200 Meter beginnt.
And that was won by Ivan Stil of Russia, followed by Spain's Alfonso Benavides and Zaza Nadiradze of Georgia.
Wir präsentieren die Medaillengewinner im C1 der Herren über 200 Meter. Die Medaillen werden überreicht durch Herrn Albert Butz, Präsident der Europäischen Kanu-Assoziation und Mitglied des ICF Boards. Er wird begleitet von Frau Elena Ichtakova, Teamleaderin.
So the medals for the men's C1 200 metres are going to be presented by Albert Woods, who's an ICF board member, alongside the team leader of Russia.
Der Gewinner der Bronzemedaille.
Bronze medalist representing Georgia,
Zaza Nadiradze of Georgia stepping up to take the bronze medal in this men's C1 200 metres. A former under-23 world bronze medalist. And topping off a very successful week for him. He qualified a place at Rio 2016, finishing second at the European qualifier this week. Managing to clinch that bronze medal in a very, very close men's C1 200 metres. Second place went to a very popular sounding Alfonso Benavides. He's definitely got plenty of fans in the crowds here in Duisburg. He won the Olympic qualifier on Thursday, securing a spot for Rio. So just beating Zaza Nadiradze earlier this week as well. And the gold medal went to the reigning world and European champion in C2 200s. That's Ivan Stil of Russia. A big, big performance by him to win the men's C1 200 metres.
Meine Damen und Herren, Applaus für die Medaillengewinner im C1.
Actually did the same in 2014 as well. Double world and European champion in C2 200, 2015 and 2014. So trying to make his mark on the C1, the individual event as well. So the next race will be the final of the men's K1 500 metres. That's going in about 5 minutes' time. I saw the B final a little bit earlier on. That was our first final of the afternoon. That was won by Mohamed Ali Mrabit of Tunisia, followed by Finland's Mika Dietrich and Thomas Lusty from Great Britain. And there we have the starting lineup for the men's K1 500 metres. And unfortunately this weekend the heats of the men's K1 500 they kind of clashed a little bit with the final of the men's K1000, so not quite the depth that we're used to seeing in the men's K1 500 this week, because I think there were a few athletes that were reluctant to go out and hurt themselves in the heats of the 500 before, less than an hour later going out into the 1,000 metre finals. So there on the screen in this men's K1 500 metres A final. We have Ole Kaharik of Ukraine. He'll be in lane 5. He's the fastest qualifier in a time of 1:38.638. Just missed out on Olympic qualification in the K1 and the K2 earlier this week, did Ole Kaharik of Ukraine, so double disappointment for him, really tough week. Out in lane 1, Barry Watkins from Ireland. A lot of experience over this distance, so interesting to see what he's got. Bram Branges from the Netherlands in lane 2. From the Netherlands, finished 6th here last year over this distance. So this is quite often a sort of second event for the men's K1000 paddlers. K1000, of course, in the Olympic Games. 500 metres isn't. Used to be, but no longer.
Sadly.
Yeah. Is that something that would you prefer to see men's 500 metre racing?
I really would. It's sad that they cut off so many great disciplines. Like the K1 500 meter man, I think everyone would love to see that back in the Olympic program.
Yeah, that was also a very competitive and fun, exciting race to watch. Guys just picked up the pace a lot more.
Obviously, there's a limit to how many events you can have. You can't have everything, in your opinion, what would you sacrifice to be able to have the men's K1 500 back out of the men's races? Would you prefer to see the 200 or would you prefer to see the 1,000?
Actually, the 200. I think it should be the 500 and the 200. It's the short distances are just nicer to watch for the others, I guess.
Yeah, I guess as a point of view of spectator sport.
If you don't know too much about kayaking, you are more excited to watch short races than the long stuff. It would be also amazing to have a relay in the Olympic program.
Fantastic. So in lane 9, it's Martin Brzezinski of Poland, and the boats are all lined up now in the start buckets. Men's K1 500 metres, A final. Mohamed Ali Mrabit of Tunisia picking up first place in the B final earlier, and they're underway. They're out of the blocks. Looks like a really strong start from Radek Sluf of the Czech Republic, who's got out really, really quickly. And it's Sluf and Ole Kaharek of Ukraine in lane 5 who are leading it out. Kaharek just paddling himself into a marginal lead. That's Kaharek in lane 5. Also going well is alongside him Mikita Borikau of Belarus in lane 4 in that black boat.
These two boats are looking good in front. The Ukrainian and the Belarusian, right?
So Ole Kaharek, just 19 years old, up there in the lead in that blue boat. Nearly a boat length lead as they go through the 200 metre mark. Mikita Borikau of Belarus is still in second. And it's going to be burning as they come into the last 150 metres. Looks like Alexei Mokolov of Uzbekistan, who's currently in third. Out in lane 3.
Coming very fast.
Yeah, as Anna said, Alexei Mokolov is lifting the power, lifting the pace, sneaking his way past the Belarusian athletes. It looks like Ole Kaharek can hold on for the gold, but there's still a few metres to go. Will the Belarusian athlete hold on to take the silver? And it will be gold for Ukraine's Ole Kaharek ahead of Mikita Borikau of Belarus in second. And bronze went to Alexei Mokolov of Uzbekistan out in lane 3 and just didn't have enough. Alexei Mokolov from Uzbekistan just didn't have enough to come and to get that silver medal.
It was a nice finish of him though.
It was a very, very nice finish indeed. And did that for you kind of show why you like the men's 500 metre racing so much, that particular race?
Yeah, but
you don't ask, did you? I think she loves the 1,000 more.
I think it does, but watching guys like Adam and Renee and those guys racing the 500, it's all due respect to these guys, it's good racing, but those guys just still, they hold the reins of 500 metre K1 racing.
Yeah, as we mentioned, there are a few stars missing, aren't there? The likes of Rene Poulsen of Denmark. He won the K1 1000 yesterday. He's also world champion in K1 500.
Yeah.
But again, chose not to race, quite understandably, because they're so close together. So bit of a different program this year, really.
Yeah, but it's also good because it gives another field of people the chance to come up and make their mark on the international ranking. So it's.
And there you can see Ole Kaharek of Ukraine fist pumping as he crosses the line to take the gold in the K1 500. Just 19 years old, won bronze in the K1000 at the Junior World Championships last year. And a 1:38.040 the winning time. Less than a second behind was Belarus with the silver, and Alexei Mokolov of Uzbekistan with bronze. It was the Czech Republic in 4th and in 5th as well. Martin Brzezinski of Poland in 6th. Barry Watkins of Ireland in 7th. The Netherlands athlete in 8th, and Anton Novakovic of Croatia bringing up the rear of the field in 9th. As we mentioned, Rene Poulsen from Denmark, the current world champion. Adam Van Kovenen of Canada He's just qualified a spot for Canada at the American qualifiers this weekend. Qualified a spot for the Rio Olympic Games. He is the world's best time holder. 1:35.630 is the time that everyone's looking to beat. That was set in Poznan in 2008. And for you, Esty, what's the plan for you for the rest of this year? What events are you targeting? What's your training sort of plan and program looking like?
Yeah, for the rest of the year, I'll have the race now in check, and then I'm pretty much done. Not going to the Olympics, so I'll be supporting Bridget all the way. And for me, I'll just go into training in 2020. 4 more years to try and qualify for that, and go back to the routine.
So do you train in the same place as Bridget Hartley?
No, Bridget is based in KZN, and I'm up in Gauteng, so we quite a bit of distance between us. But I tend to train more with the guys.
And do you find that really helpful, training with a bunch of guys?
Yeah, I feel like it's less emotional. As a bunch of girls together can sometimes get a bit much. So
we've all been there.
Yeah. I quite like the guys. It's just bantering the whole time and talking nonsense, and it's all fun.
And so, which events are you targeting in the Czech Republic at the second World Cup next week?
I'll be racing the 500 and the 200, mixing it up a little bit. But the main focus will be the 500. 200. Yeah, don't enjoy it that much, but it's still a good race to race.
Are you still under 23?
No, I'm the first year senior now. So no more hiding down under 23 kids, and I need to pull up my socks now.
And we saw in the previous race a little bit earlier on, Mohamed Ali Rabbit from Tunisia winning the B final in the men's K1 500 metres. We mentioned that he had qualified through for the Olympic Games from the African Championships. Did you race at the African Championships?
No, Bridget raced that spot. She won the SA Championships. But also South Africans weren't allowed to qualify through the African Champs, as our Olympic Committee decided not to. So wouldn't have been much of a point racing it anyway.
So coming up in a few moments' time, we will have the final of the men's C1 500 metres. But before that, we will be seeing the medal ceremony for the men's C2 1000 metres. That will be coming up very, very shortly indeed. So we mentioned a little bit earlier on how tough the racing has been. I think it was Joanna that said this was perhaps the hardest World Cup event that you've ever seen, or the highest level. Do you find that in an Olympic year things tend to lift, the level tends to lift?
Yeah, but it's good in a way, so it should be like that. And yeah, I'm excited what the Olympics will bring for the others. Yeah.
So you guys will obviously be sort of supporting people that you know. The Olympics for you, it's going to be Bridget, Esty. What are you most excited about watching at the Olympics? And are there any things anyone that you think is going to really stand out and shine?
Well, after today's race, it'll be nice to see who takes the K1 500 metre between the women. I think that's going to be a tight one again. And then also just all the races basically. I quite just enjoy all watching it. It's always tight racing and the levels lifted, and with the times being posted today, I think by the time we hit Olympics, if the conditions allow, it's going to be very exciting.
And for you, Anna, is there a particular race that you're going to be looking forward to seeing? Is it the K1 as well?
It's the K2 500 women. Yeah, I'm excited to see that race. I think it's gonna be exciting to see who is going to race for the Hungarians in the K2, because I'm not sure if they already decided who is going to race the K2 for them. And yeah.
Do you think you'll find that quite difficult? Because obviously you ideally you would have liked to have been there yourselves in the K2 500. Would that be tough and emotional for you to watch that?
I hope not. But I will be just excited to watch it and to see how the girls are racing there.
So we now have the medal ceremony for the men's K2 1000 metres. No, it's the medal ceremony for the men's C2 1000 metres. That was won by the Ukrainian pair of Dumitru Ianchuk and Taras Mishchuk, followed by Romania's Leonid Karp and Stefan Strat. And in third was from the Czech Republic, Jaroslav Radon and Filip Dvořák.
Meine Damen und Herren, wir präsentieren die Medaillengewinner im C2 der Herren über 1000 Meter.
So we just have one of the athletes from the Romanian crew out there, about to step up onto the podium.
Is he racing the C1 500, the other one?
His crewmate will be racing in C1 very shortly.
Mr. John Ferris, member of the ICF board, accompanied by Mr. Alexei Woodov, team leader, Ukraine.
Die Gewinner der Bronzemedaille.
Bronzemedaille, Czech Republic. Jaroslav Radon, Filip Dvořák.
So they have the Czech crew of Jaroslav Radon and Filip Dvořák, world bronze medalist back in 2013, and topping off a good week for them after qualifying for Rio, with second at the European Olympic qualifiers this week, taking the bronze medal. And they've got the umbrellas up down there, so it must be raining. It seems pretty dry from up here. And presenting the medals for this event is the ICF board member John Edwards, along with the team leader of Ukraine. So Stefan Strat stepping up to pick up the medals for Romania on behalf of himself and his crewmate Leonid Karp, who will be racing in the C1 500 in just a few moments' time. They won the C2000s at the European Olympic qualifiers this week, securing their spots for Rio as well, and top that off with the silver in the World Cup.
Der Goldmedaille.
Representing Ukraine, Dumitru Ianchuk, Taras Mishchuk.
And after a fantastically well-planned and well-controlled race by the Ukrainian pair, it is Dumitru Ianchuk and Taras Mishchuk that take the gold medal, adding that to their growing collection, having won the Under-23 World Championships last year and the Senior European Championships as well.
Meine Damen und Herren, Applaus für die Medaillengewinner im C2 der Herren über 1000 Meter.
Let's start the race, 160, 6-1 and 500 meter final. Lehmann representing Germany.
So without further ado, the next race on course will be the A final of the men's C1 500 metres. We just mentioned Leonid Karp, they're not able to pick up his medal because he's going to be out there at the start line. They are approaching the start buckets already up there at the 500 metre mark.
Lane 6 representing Kazakhstan, Sergei Yemelyanov. Lane 7 representing Bulgaria.
And I think perhaps the one to look out for in this race is the 18-year-old Sergei Tarnovsky. You can see him there alongside his brother in lane 5, his brother Oleg in lane 4. I can imagine there's a fair bit of rivalry between those two.
Yeah.
Sergei, the youngest, by 5 years. He was the fastest qualifier in a time of 1:45.666. And they're lining up in the buckets, ready to go in this A final.
German only one. Yeah.
So that's Jan Vandre from Germany, who we just saw in lane 1, and a big start from both Sergei Tarnowski and Sergei Yemelyanov. But it does look like Sergei Tarnowski of Moldova that has the biggest lead, looking really strong. Out in lane 1, Jan van Drey of Germany just nosing himself into a lead. And Oleg Tarnowski as well, the older Moldovan brother.
It's the older one in front.
Is trying to exercise a little bit of authority over his little brother Sergei. And they are having a little private battle in those central 2 lanes. Sergei won silver in C1 1000 yesterday behind Sebastian Brendel. Really threw the gauntlet down to the more experienced paddler, and unfortunately came off the worst, but picked up a silver medal.
It's a family fight right now.
It is. Oleg Tarnowski in lane 4, 8th in the C1000 yesterday. So I'm sure he wants to get one back on his brother, but look at that lift as they come into the last 150 metres. Sergei Tarnowski of Moldova out in lane 5, looking extremely strong. Sergei Yemelyanov of Kazakhstan alongside him in lane 6, looking really good as well.
German in lane 1 is coming up as well.
And yeah, don't discount Jan van Drey or Carlo Taccini of Italy, who's in lane 8. Can Jan van Drey come on and take that gold medal, which is currently in the clutches of Sergei Tarnowski? And they come towards the finish line. It will be gold for Sergei Tarnowski, silver for Germany's Jan van Drey, and bronze for Kazakhstan's Sergei Yemelyanov. And it was a brave fight from the older brother Oleg Tarnowski, but unfortunately not to be. It was the younger brother Sergei Tarnowski, just 18 years old, that took it. And your thoughts on that race, ladies?
Well, it's nice to see brothers fight lots like that.
Do either of you have siblings? And if you do they race? Are they kayakers?
Oh no, I have a younger sister. She's 11, but she does gymnastics. She doesn't like kayaking. She tried it, but it was not her thing. She didn't enjoy it.
No.
I have an older brother. He's actually my coach.
Oh wow! Okay. So how does that work out for you?
Yeah, it works. We actually work quite well together, and there's some fights, but who doesn't? So a lot of people have asked us if it's not a strange dynamic, and I don't think it is, but we make it work, and I think the communication between us is key, just to keep it open and good.
And do you have a rule where you leave canoeing at work, and then when you come home in the evenings?
Yeah, that's a general rule, just because the whole family is in canoeing, so when we're at home we don't talk canoeing. If you do, you shun from the table for a few minutes, and yeah, else gets too much.
So there you have it, 1:46.755, the winning time for Sergei Tarnowski of Moldova, just beating his brother Oleg Tarnowski.
Oh, that's a nice picture.
Oh, that's really nice. The two brothers, Oleg and Sergei, congratulating each other, and perhaps a little bit of consolation for Oleg as well. Absolutely fantastic that after all that rivalry, after battling it out nose to nose for much of the race, it's hugs all round. Big emotion for that Moldovan pair.
Okay, for ladies coming up, right?
Yeah, the next race will be the women's K4 500 metres. That's in about 10 minutes' time. But I can bring you the rest of the results, which just appear momentarily on our screens, from that men's C1 500 metre final. 1:46.755, the winning time for Sergei Tarnowski of Moldova. He was closely followed by Jan van Drey of Germany in a time of 1:47.541. Bronze went to Sergei Yemelyanov of Kazakhstan, with Carlo Taccini of Italy taking 4th, Denis Kovalenko of Ukraine taking 5th, Oleg Tarnowski, the older brother, taking 6th. Angel Kodinov of Bulgaria, another young paddler, also just 18. He took 7th. He also qualified a place in Rio with a 3rd place finish at the Olympic qualifiers earlier this week. Then in 8th place was Vadim Menko of Uzbekistan, a former world silver medalist in this event back in 2013. And Leonid Karp of Romania in lane 9, finishing in 9th place. It seems like he has really worked his socks off this weekend. We saw him take silver in the C2000 not 40 minutes ago, having done both C1 and C2 at the European qualifiers earlier this week. So we do have the women's K4 coming up, but so far for you, Esty, and for you, Anna, what have been the standout performances so far of the afternoon? It's been a tough one because there's been some such close racing, hasn't there?
Yeah, I enjoyed the win by Danuta. It was pretty good, and then of course my K4000 meter men was brilliant.
The Aussie guys did a very nice race.
Yeah.
Exciting race.
Yeah, I think the Australian K4 for some reason always seems to manage to provide excitement. I think one of the highlights of the Olympic Games in London was the Australian K4 coming through to win gold. But yeah, it's never a boring race when those guys are around.
No.
So the medal presentation now for that men's K4 1,000 metres. Before we see the final of the women's K4 500. So these medals for the men's K4 1,000 metres will be presented by the president of the German Canoe Federation, Thomas Konetzke, and also the team leader of Australia. And if you missed this race a little earlier on, it was an absolute nail-biter from start to finish. There was absolutely nothing to separate Australia and Russia, inching past each other several times in the race. Very rarely was there a leader until the very last 100 metres, but it was the Belarusian crew who took the bronze. That's Pavel Miadvedzu, Ale Urenia, Vitaly Bialko and Raman Pietrushenko. Pietrushenko and Bialko won gold in the K2 1,000 metres yesterday, so they add the bronze medal in the K4,000 to their haul for the weekend. This was the senior Belarusian crew in the men's K4,000. There was a younger crew in there as well. They won gold here in Duisburg at the World Cup last year. Bronze at the European Games last year as well. And the bronze medal again today. And there you have the Russian silver medal winning crew of Kirill Lyapunov, Vasily Pogroban, Roman Anoshkin and Oleg Zheskov. An absolutely fantastic race by that crew, but I can imagine a slight bit of disappointment to miss out by an inch, if that.
Yeah, it's never fun.
6/10 of a second they were behind the Russians. Over 1,000 meters, that's nothing.
That's
nothing.
So 2:52 the winning time for the Australians, 2:52.180. And there you have it, the Australian gold medal winning crew of Kenny Wallace, Riley Fitzsimmons, Jacob Clear and Jordan Woods. All four of these athletes will be heading to Rio, whether it be in this K4 or in different combinations. But a real show of fantastic nerve to hold on like that when they're so close to someone. Have you? I can imagine that you've both been in that position where the whole race you're right next to someone. How do you kind of hold your nerve in that situation?
You try to stay in front. It's the only thing you think. You try to stay in front, and that the other boat doesn't come close to you, and you try to push against it.
Yeah, you just have to try to keep your own race and try not to race their race and focus on yourself.
Is it kind of a psychological battle, hoping that they're going to be the ones that kind of crack first, sort of thing?
Yeah.
So we do now have the A final of the women's K4 500 metres. The last final of the morning. We saw some real drama and exciting nail-biting racing in the men's K4 just a little bit earlier on. And I've got a feeling this race is going to be no different at all. We've got medal-winning capabilities across the entire field. Is there, for you girls, I mean, you can see the list there, any particular boat which stands out for you as, I don't know, a consistent boat, a particular boat that paddled well in the heats yesterday, perhaps?
I would say that the Polish are one of them. The Polish, the Belarusian girls, the British girls, the New Zealand girls, but as well as the French girls. I don't know. I don't know who will be the first three here.
Very hard to call it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard. I think the Belarusians have quite a good depth.
The world champions from last year, the Belarusian girls.
Yeah, but I don't really think you can exclude any of those crews.
So you can just see there the New Zealand crew in lane 7, Jamie Lovett, Caitlin Ryan, Amy Fisher and Kayla Imrie. They were 5th here last year, but actually won gold at the World Cup in Montemor last year. Still exactly the same crew from 2015. Out in lane 1 though, that's Denmark's Emma Jorgensen, Amelie Thompson, Ida Willemsen and Henrietta Hansen. And in lane 2, that's the Ukrainian crew, Maria Pov, Svetlana Hodova, Anastasia Todorova and Ina Christian, silver at the European Championships last year. Alongside them in lane 3, Leah Jamelot, Manon Hostens, Amandine Lot and Sarah Trull from France. Manon Hostens replacing Gabrielle Tudot from last year. And then the Polish crew that Anna's already mentioned as one of the hot favourites. They finished silver last year behind the Belarusians. Bronze at the European Games. Marta Wojciechowicz, Edyta Jeniszewska-Kerka, Karolina Naya and Ewelina Wojnarowska. And in lane 5, the reigning world and European champions also won golds at the World Cup here last year. That's Belarus.
The British.
And a very strong looking British crew, Jess Walker, Rachel Cawthorne, Rebecca Simon and Louisa Gursky. They had a very, very strong heat. And could this be the year that they can break into the medals? We've already spoken a bit about New Zealand. Great Britain 5th at the World Championships last year, 5th at London 2012. And they're underway. And I can feel the nerves around the stadium already as those two crews in the central lanes, lanes 4 and 5, Poland and Belarus, get away very, very well.
The
New Zealand girls look to be in the lead. It is those three crews that are edging out ahead of the rest of the field.
Belarusians powering through now.
The Belarusian girls, they have a very smooth stroke. It's like the stroke rate is not as high as the stroke rate of the rest.
But it's efficient.
Yeah.
They are very, very powerful indeed. So Belarus in the lead. And alongside them, it's Poland, who are definitely very much in contention. After a very strong start, New Zealand just edging back, but out there in lane 2, Ukraine looking really strong. do Great Britain have any more in the tank after what seemed like a poor start? So going through the 250 metres, it's Belarus with the lead. See Great Britain there with a good, strong, high stroke rate, trying to power their way back into it. It's definitely Belarus who have a really strong lead. Perhaps 3 or 4 other crews, though, in contention for the medals. Ukraine in lane 2, Poland in lane 4, New Zealand as well in lane 7. Great Britain are lifting and powering through. Are they going to have enough to take one of these medals? Poland seems to be dropping back. Great Britain looking strong. New Zealand coming as well. And Ukraine looking good out in lane 1.
Ukraine is going to
So it's going to be Ukraine that take gold. Belarus with the silver, and I think it was Poland with the bronze. But that was an incredibly close race. So many crews battling towards the finish.
Yeah, a lot of shifts and leads. Brilliant comeback from the Ukraine though.
Yeah. Didn't expect that.
So for you, when we saw a couple of crews come out really early, but which was obviously it was the Ukrainians that really paid off with their race plan. But what impressed you about that race in particular?
I think the Brits also got quite a last good 150 meters.
The Brits got 4th, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It was Great Britain that picked up 4th,
Yeah.
which is a really good effort considering they seem to be
Dropping
one
back.
of the slowest out of the blocks, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think they'll probably be disappointed with that start because they could well have been in contention for the medals otherwise. You can see that really early shot there. And I've been really impressed with watching the New Zealand girls train about how smooth they look in the boat.
Yeah, they've also come a long while. Like, I don't know exactly how long they've been together, but it's been quite a few years, and they started quite low and they've built their way up and to qualify for the Olympics and perform like they do now. It's going to be good racing.
Nice leg work from the Ukrainian girls.
Yeah, very good. You can see their knees driving together. So a fantastic win for Ukraine. Maria Pov, Svetlana Akhmatova, Anastasia Todorova and Ina Hryshchyn. Silver at the European Championships last year. Gold here in Duisburg this afternoon. And Belarus, who burst out of the blocks. Reigning world and European champions. Gold here last year. They picked up the silver. And it was Poland's Martina Wojcikiewicz, Edyta Jeniszewska-Kerka and Karolina Naya and Ewelina Wojnarowska as well, who took the bronze. And a very satisfied Ukrainian crew just warming themselves down there. And the British have got big smiles on their faces. They just missed out on the medals, but Jess Walker, Rachel Cawthorne, Rebby Simon and Louisa Gursky all looking really happy. Hugs all round on the pontoons.
Yeah, I think they can be very happy with that race.
They can be very proud of that finish, for certain. They've shown themselves that they've got the power and the capability. So 1:32.046, the winning time for Ukraine. Belarus just 0.04 of a second behind to take second. Poland in 3rd. Great Britain in 4th and New Zealand in 5th. And away from Rebby Simon to the camera and Rachel Cawthorne, as they realise they're on the big screen. They'll be deconstructing that race. And hopefully plenty more to come from them as they head towards the Olympic Games in Rio later this year. So a really exciting afternoon of racing. What for you, what's been the highlight? What's stood out for you so far?
Just the level of racing, hey. I mean, how many of these times have been so close to world records?
Yeah.
It's been ridiculous. So I'm excited to see for the next of the year where these athletes are going to take our sport.
And for you, Anna?
For me, the K1 200 meter man was a nice race, winning the win from the Italian guy. I think nobody expected that. It's nice to see. And yeah, all the races actually, to see all people fighting until the end. And the great times.
Yeah, not just a great performance from that Ukrainian K4, also the Australian K4 a little bit earlier on. Thank you so much to Austria's Anna Roxana Lahach and South Africa's Esti van Tonder for joining us this afternoon. Best of luck to both of you for the rest of your season. And that's it from us here at the ICF Canoe Sprint World Cup here in Duisburg. We'll be back next week with live coverage from the second World Cup of the 2016 season in the Czech Republic.